to resume the recordings. We're recording this meeting for posterity for YouTube. It's also on Facebook. Bruno is a long-time stalwart of UPF Ireland, and the idea for this Cyber Faith Roundtable actually came from an event we used to have in the real world before COVID, maybe 10, 15 years ago. Howard also was involved in this. It was in Blanchardstown. It was on the local radio there, the Phoenix FM. And we used to have an interfaith roundtable event. I think it was once every month or thereabouts, where we had people from different faiths who would share on a different topic. And I think it was time to revive this during COVID times, just to have some activities that we could keep going here in Ireland. And 2 months ago, in December, we had Yemi Adenuga, who's a councillor in Navan, who will be joining us soon. And she gave a nice presentation about her work, educational work also in Shiros, it's called. So tonight, Bruno is going to tell us about a charity that he set up himself with a friend of his, E-ducare, and they do educational work in different parts of the world, but particularly in Tanzania and I think Vietnam. Is it, Bruno?
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
Yeah. So without further ado, I'll let you, please, if you're ready to go. If you have anything you want to share on the screen, please do. So Mr. Bruno Miresse, welcome here, everybody. And please ask questions afterwards as well. This is supposed to be interactive, so I'm sure he's able to handle all your difficult questions if you have any.
Don't ask difficult question, please. Can I share my screen? Can you give me? Okay. Right. Can you hear well?
Yeah.
I think I can hear you.
Loud and clear, yes.
Right. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me the space to introduce E-ducare. E-ducare is a long journey. It's actually started initially at around 2011. It went through different phases because it was initially set up in a different way. It was set up as with the purpose of tourists in mind, but we soon realized that the Irish revenue would not give us any permission to treat such an entity as a charity or as a tax-exempt organization. So we had to go through different steps to change everything, to redo the memorandum, article of association. Until we came up finally, around 2015 with E-ducare for Youth, and that's how it started. And we got finally the approval from the charity regulator in Ireland to be officially registered as a charity. At the same time, we also received tax exemption from revenue. So this means that we are fully an Irish tax exempt organization, fully recognized. So I just want to give a brief overview. There's a lot to talk about, of course, but I want to say a few things about what we're doing, and this is in connection with the principle, one of the principles that the founder of UPF, Reverend Moon, has always thought about in his life, throughout his life. Is one of the things I heard the most from him, living for the sake of others. And I just mention a couple of things at the end of this, but I wanted just to introduce E-ducare for what it is, what we are doing, and how we operate, and where we operate. So, as you can see at the top left here, there is some. You might recognize, maybe you know who said who said those words in education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So we are in the field of education. We want to educate, particularly we are focusing on the youth. And on the youth, there are different ways you can help the youth, and there are different ways that you can promote education. There's all type of education you can promote, but for the moment we are focusing on young people that are from low-income families, and the reason for that is that there's been a lot of study. I don't want to go through all of them, but because it's very time consuming. But there's a study that when you have a lack of education, you also obviously have lack of opportunities, and that leads to people keep living with a low income. Low income doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but it does give less opportunity, and unfortunately, and so that their living condition doesn't really change. There's no improvement really in what's happening. So it's just a kind of a cycle that is going through. So to break the cycle, you need to give the children the opportunity to be educated, to receive an education, like equal opportunity for everybody, so that they can bring changes within their own family, within their own community, and within their own nation, and wherever, even in the world. So the purpose of our charity, the purpose of E-ducare for Youth, obviously, as you see from the name, is education. And we, as I said, like we focus particularly on the people, on the youth that are from low-income family or family with difficult conditions. We'll show you a little bit more later. Just to give an idea of the people that are involved at the moment, we have in Ireland we have 3 directors. I'm one of the directors of the charity. Along with the founder, I'm pretty much the co-founder of this charity because from being there from the very beginning. We have at the moment 35 volunteers, potentially 5 or 6 more that are coming on board. We have several corporate partners. I can't put the names there because it's a bit of confidential information, but we're partnering with different corporate that they sponsor several projects that we do. In Vietnam, that's where we operate in Vietnam at the moment, Ireland, Vietnam, and Tanzania. In Vietnam, we have 1 coordinator and 2 teachers and 20 volunteers. And in Tanzania, we don't really have volunteers, and I'll explain why in a moment. But we're working with 2 local partners. Those 3 people are the only people that are the paid people in our charity. All of us, including the directors and everybody, they are just exclusively doing everything on a volunteer basis. So we dedicate the time and whatever is needed to run the charity. The reason we have these paid people is because they're teacher in one of our teaching facilities, so they don't work for free, unfortunately. We do have 2 part-time teachers, which are volunteers. So, but then we have a coordinator that we need help with the language, we need help with the local laws and everything else. So these are the people that we have working with at the moment. So some of the key elements of our work, there, of course, we have a lot of principles, but a few things are, first of all, is transparency. Our aim is that we use as much as possible, close to, I would say, as much as we can, up to 100%. We can't use 100% because, of course, we have expenses. We have to pay accountant. We have, we have expenses for setting up fundraising events and all kinds of things. But whatever is it's raised, we want to maximize what we can use, the funds we can use for the actual activities rather than other expenses. And that's one of the reasons why even ourselves, even the board members, so the directors don't even get any, we don't really receive any paid expenses if we do have some, like if you need to travel or whatever. I mean, within Ireland, of course, or if you need to use some small funds from our own pocket, we just use that. We don't get even refund. We really try to be 100% volunteers. We collaboration and partnership, this is a very important point. And the reason is that we want to help, and we might have our ideas of what we want to do there, which might not exactly match what they actually need or what the people want in the location where we work. And this is a very important point because often there are many ways of working within a charity. Of course, a charity just provide a living goods like food or whatever, and that's important. Actually, I'm not saying that that's not is not important, shouldn't be done. The way we work is that we go into the area wherever we are, and we talk with the people, we talk with the communities, we talk with even the government, local governments, and we find out what exactly the situation is, and we try and where we can actually help and have maximized the help that we can give to them. So that's a very important point. That we look. So we don't just create programs and we go and we do them. We first look at the place, we look at the community, we look at what is needed, and then we come up with a project, we come up with a plan, and we come up with then the means to support the project. And it's universal because we support every child. So we don't. A child is a child. We don't care whether it's whatever nationality, culture, or doesn't matter. It's just wherever we work, we are working with children. That's what they are, children. That's it. Children that need education. So it covers anybody. When I say children and youth, of course. Oops, too fast. So this I already mentioned a little bit, but this is how we work. So we identify the problem. So we discuss with the local partners, with the local community where we decide to operate, and then we come up with the solutions. So we come up with a project. I'll show you a bit later how we actually start in Vietnam, because education. We can help in education in many different ways, but I'll show you a bit later. Then once we have identified the problem, we discussed and we come up with a plan that would address that issue, then we start the fundraising. So we campaign, we do the different fundraising campaign, and this year, of course, with the COVID, last year with the COVID, we had a lot of online campaigns. And we were lucky that we were also we had sponsorship from corporate that help us to pretty much manage all the deliverables that we were set to deliver. So we were lucky that we weren't hit as much as many others, I suppose. Although, of course, I can say that our budget is not as bigger as maybe Focus Island or other big charities, obviously. But we were lucky we could manage to meet all our deliverables, and that was great. We do usually, so we prepare the plans between the end of the year and the beginning of the year. So we are now finalizing the 2021. And then we start the fundraising. So we fundraise for the next year, basically. So that's how we try to work. So we try to get ahead, and we have everything in place. Then, of course, we need to deliver what we promised to deliver in this area, and that also delivered on time. And the next step, which is very also important, is step number 4, is monitor and keeping updated on what's happening and tracking the progress. That's why we need a coordinator in Vietnam. We can't be there. We can't be in Tanzania. We can't be in the other places where we work. Like, well, at the moment, only these 2, but obviously it's very difficult to track the progress and to see what's happening, and to see that the children are actually going to school, what are the problematics, what are the issues, and so on. So and the expenses. And the reason we do that, obviously, first of all, is because we want to make sure that the money we use is used for what they were raised for, to meet the purpose. And the second, also because we feel they're accountable to the donors, that what they're giving is effectively going to do what we told them that we were using for. So I think this again is transparency, and I think is very important, because we feel that building trust is one of the most important things that you have. There's a lot of, unfortunately, it's a lot of issues that come up with charities, and that they're not great. So we really want to try to make as transparent as possible the whole process, and the people can feel safe that if they're given money to E-ducare, they know that it's going to be used for the right purpose. Right. So this is where we work. We have, as I said, like we have 3 countries at the moment. We have capacity and manpower issues for the time being. There's so many other things. We've been contacted by, I think, by Congo, by few European countries as well. We have been contacted by many people. We just can take we just can take it at the moment. We're just too small, and so we need time to grow and to have a very solid base. So Tanzania, Vietnam, we started in Vietnam. That was the beginning. I don't want to go into much details of why, but that's how we started. So the current project that we have in Vietnam are, we built a teaching facility back a few years back. And this teaching facility are 2 classrooms, and they were built on the ground of an ex-teacher, secondary school teacher. He had his house, and he had a big place beside. And because he was teaching children from the street, children that couldn't go to school, he was looking for a place. So we decided to do together, and we built these 2 classrooms. I'll show you a picture after this. So there are constantly about 50 children that attend the place there. And that's where we have the 2 teachers that we pay. And the reason is that the ages of the children are different. So you need to have different classes together for all the different ages of the children. Some of them, unfortunately, they can't go to school simply because they miss a paper, they miss the birth certificate, and the parents just don't have enough money to go to the place of birth to get the certificate. So there are very simple things that could be solved in a very simple way, and that's what we're trying to do. So we don't just try to teach them something, but we try to look at the family situation as well and try to cover what can be done. So if you know that one of the child is a younger child, then we try to go, maybe it's like 500 or 600 kilometers away from where they live. And we try to get to go and get the birth certificate so you can actually enroll to public school. So there are very different ways, as I said, to help. But the main purpose of this facility is to cater for those that they cannot go to school mainly because of family economic situation. The other one that we started about 2 years ago is a public school enrollment. So we sponsor children. We partner with the local governments, and we identify which are the children that don't go to school. The local government knows who is supposed to go to school, because school is mandatory, of course, in Vietnam as well. I think it's mandatory until secondary school. I'm not sure, but they so that they know they have the role, but they know that some of the children don't go. So then we look at the families and what is the situation, and within very specific criteria that we have, we select a number of children we can sponsor for that year. So we don't just do for 1 year. Of course, the primary school, for example, is 5 grades. So we sponsor from grade 1 to 5. So the goal is to sponsor over 2,000 children in the next 4 to 5 years. And then we started just last year, putting the grounds for a community learning center, which is in the northern part of Vietnam. Actually, this school enrollment and this teaching facility that are in the southern part, we started in the northern part with this community learning center. And that's a much bigger process. Project. The total cost is going to end up to be like about $150,000. We're gonna build a community center that the young people can use it for learning, for improving their skills, and for many other useful to exchange. And there's gonna be teaching that we can sponsor, like English or other subject, like computer and other things. Anyway, that's another project. These are some of the picture from Vietnam. This is actually how we started. You see some piglet and chicks there, and we see a boat here. This is actually when we started before we were officially a charity. So there was some fishermen that did not have enough money. They were fishing for other people, and they did not have enough money to send their children to school. So we bought some small boats, fishing boats for them, and we donated to them, and so they could start fishing on their own and make more money by selling the fish. And that allowed them to have enough income to send the children to school. We selected in 2-3 villages. We selected, they were like a quite poor area of Vietnam. So we bought piglet and chicks and the food for 1 year, all vaccinated. And we selected all the families in between 2-3 villages, I don't remember, like 200-300 families. We, according to how many children they had in school age, we divided all these animals and we distributed to them, along with the food for 1 year as well, so they could start a self-generating income scheme to help themselves. So growing the piglets, some they can eat, some they can sell, some then they multiply, and they try to make some by selling the meat and the eggs and the chicken, and they can make they can make enough money to send the children to school as well. This is the teaching facility that we built in the southern part of Vietnam. These are the teachers, and these are some of the children that were there. We bought everything, the desks and everything else. This is all brand new, built. Yeah, that was in Vietnam. Tanzania is a different reality. Again, like, you need to see what is the reality in each country, in each place, to understand how you can help. Because what we might think that is needed might not be exactly what they really need, and what they actually want to have in the first place. So we basically work on a Karim orphanage. This is the beneficiaries, of course, are the children from the orphans, a lot of children. But what happened is that because it's a place where there is the lady that is running this orphanage is so good, and so the children from the neighborhood that are from also from difficult financial condition, they started to bring the children there as well to get some place to stay together and to get some kind of education, some kind of support as well. So there are 25 children that they're orphans, but also there are the neighbors' children that come and join together. In 2000, like last year, actually, again, like this demonstrate how we can help. Like, okay, we said, what you need, and the thing that they said, the first thing we need is to build a fence around the orphanage, because if we don't, then the government will take us the license, and we have to send, we don't have any place to put these children. So again, like, that's demonstrated is not what we think, what we can do, but it's actually what is needed to be done right away so that the operation can continue. So this is one example. And the other one is a bigger project, is Langiloriti Primary School. This is an area, I don't know if I can point it out here on the map, but it's not too far from it's somewhere around here. It's a large area. So there's 7 Maasai tribe. There are about 20,000 people in the area. There's someone who donated a huge, very, very big piece of land to the Maasai tribe. So that's where they settled. And so we've been building schools because a lot of the children that are living quite far away. You know, can imagine, like, you know, it's not like going through the streets of Dublin. If you walk through those places around there, you might encounter a lion, you might encounter a tiger, you might encounter some kind of wild animal. So it's not great for the kids to be just walking back and forth. So we are building also dormitory so that kids actually can stay there where the schools are. And the good things here is, for example, is that the government, he said, as long as we build teachers' houses for there, like the government is willing to send a teacher from the government, and they're going to teach the national curriculum. So they're fully recognized school in the middle of nowhere, basically. But the government is helping that, is very happy with that. So and this year, just now, we finished building the 2 teachers' houses, so the children the teacher can go there, and they have a place to stay, and they can teach the children. So we actually going to cover from one grade to 7th grade, all of them. And there are about like 560 children there. They're probably gonna come more children as years goes by, but again, here's another example of what is needed. Like the area, they need electricity, they need clean water, they need badly clean water. But when we talked with the tribe leaders there, they said, okay, can we, what shall we do first? The water, electricity? Said, no, we don't want any of that first. First of all, we want education for our children. And so that's why we started building this. Again, like the water and the electricity are on the pipeline to be built, and we are trying to engage with engineers to where they can maybe try to find water underground and see. Anyway, that's gonna come, of course. But again, like the first thing that they want is that they wanted to have their children to be educated. So again, that's another example of what, you know, we might think different than what the people actually need right away. These are some of just a couple of pictures of the area there, and they're building the houses, the schools, the dormitories, and for the kids to be there. So, and again, the great thing is that the government recognized the schools as official schools, so that the kids, once they graduate from there, they can move to the next big city, maybe go to secondary school or universities. It's all good, and it's a great help for them. And again, the goal is not just to educate them and to move them out of the place. We always try to, you know, to say, okay, learn, do what you need to do, whatever, but then go back to your community and also and help develop your community. That's a very important point as well. Ireland is we are looking at a mentoring project. It's a big project which we haven't really been able to take it off the ground yet. It's still, as you can see, there is early preliminary stage, and it is a huge project. It takes a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of manpower as well. So just to give you a brief idea, there is a large number of children that are in care in Ireland, and once they leave care, they have different options. Unfortunately, a lot of them they don't take neither option, and just end up in the street. They just that they don't have really much to look forward to. So we try to build up a mentoring program through the EU funding, but for that we need to have not just Ireland project in Ireland. We need to have that across at least 2-3 countries in Europe, and so we're doing all the necessary research at the moment. So we're building up the team. We're searching for volunteers that can commit time and do research on this area. We're doing advanced research on the country that we want to start. So we need to have 2-3 countries. So we need to find out the situation there. You know, what can be done and how can be done. We need to find a lot of other partners and charity that already have an active vocational mentoring program, so that we can actually partner with them and build a bigger connection with different places. And then finally, building the structure. Of course, we need to gather volunteers from different areas that they can be able to connect with the youth, with the young people, and trying to give them. It's not just teaching them something. It's gonna have to be also like a moral support, a psychological support, and guide that they need, and they will probably need even houses in different places. So it's a huge thing. So we're still working on the full business plan for that. But so hopefully we can see something coming up this year. All right. If you look at the website, you'll see the website actually it's always there. It was on the bottom of every page here. Sorry, it's E-ducare.org. And if you look at the website, you can see all the various programs that we have: the public school onboarding in Vietnam, the teaching facility in Binois, the Lenguiloriti Primary School, the Community Learning Center, the orphanage. Again, like we have a lot of more that we've been asked to help and take on, but just at this moment it's just way too much for us, and so we're trying to keep we want to take things that we know we can deliver, and you know, we don't want to just take everything and then we can even do half of it. So you can go to the website, you can browse it, you can see if you click on any of these, it will come up a pop-up page, and you will see what is the project. We will see more details about how much money is needed and how much is fundraising. It's still being constantly updated, so some of them, they're not the figures are not 100% accurate at the moment, but we have some issue with the website that we need to fix. But anyway, but the idea of what the project is there, so you can look at that through the website. Right. So this is really pretty much about E-ducare. Just I wanted to give a brief overview, and there's a lot to say. Maybe you have some question, but just I wanted to cover, as I said at the beginning, UPF was founded by Reverend Moon, and he has always one of the things that I heard so many times talking is living for the sake of others, and sometimes can be maybe daunting what it means, like living for, it sounds so big, so great, and say, how can I do this? I'm just a poor guy here. What can I do? Well, I mean, there are many ways that we can do that. Like this one way, maybe to help a charity, but there are so many ways you can do it on an individual level, on your within your family. You can do it within your community. There's always someone that we can help. There's always someone that we can do something for.
Oh, sorry. Oh, no, sorry, I just muted you there by accident. That's a really, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really wonderful. Thank you so much. I think it's a lot to take in for everybody. So we might just ask if anyone would like to ask some questions, because I'm sure many of us have a lot of questions to.
Colin, can I just?
Yeah, please. Yeah, sorry.
Can I just go just 2 minutes? I want to just.
Yeah, no problem. Please carry on. Yeah.
Sorry. So, again, like there are so many ways that we can help. We can use this living for the sake of other concept. But just to mention, just briefly, like it makes you feel good. It strengthens your personal values. Introduce your children, whoever, if you introduce them, of course, to the importance of generosity, and encourage others to do the same. So it's really it's like laughing. It's kind of contagious. It can become very contagious. It's really good. It makes you really feel good, and it gives a different feeling of what your values are, and it strengthens them. It actually gives a more powerful, that you want to do more, actually, because you feel good, and it helps you to have a positive mind toward what the situation is, toward other people's situation. And so that's why I think it's a very powerful mean to create world peace. World peace can, peace start with me, peace start with myself and with our own community, and then we can bring it up to the world peace. But this is living for the sake of others, one other way that we can use to do that. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno. So for a big round of applause there, and I'll throw the floor open to questions. Just let me try and unmute everybody here. I've been asked to just to upgrade the Zoom plan, unfortunately, so I hope I don't lose everybody in the middle of this. Yeah, would anybody like to? Jamie, good to see you there.
Colin, it's going to drop off in less than a minute, so
right.
You should be able to reset up the same link, and people can rejoin. So
everybody, can you come back on in about a minute? If we drop off, just click on the same link again, and we should get another 40 minutes, or we're going to finish at in 25 minutes, so we won't need the full session. But as soon as we drop off, guys, just come back on again, and apologies for this. We're still going. So does anyone have a question lined up? Would like to ask Bruno? Everybody, I'm just trying to